Hello and welcome inside the USF softball complex. I'm Alex Drain, joined by Jeremy Parks. We are back here for the fourth game of this 5-game tournament Michigan will play in. We covered the game earlier this morning. Michigan dropped a close one to Florida, 2-0. It was a well-played game by both sides, but they're looking to rebound here against the USF Bulls here in game number 4. Now, as we turn it over, JP, what did you see that you think Michigan can take away from that first game against Florida this morning?
Well, obviously, aside from the stat that everybody would want to talk about with Megan Beaubien in the circle, I think a big thing for Michigan was patience at the plate. Trying to string together hits doesn't work very well when they're as eager as they were at the dish. So trying to sit back in those counts a little bit longer, time it up, tee it up a little bit more. And like you said, every single big hit that Michigan had came in a different inning. So trying to make sure that they try and string some hits together. A couple of big doubles. They definitely were still making good contact off of Kelly Barnhill and Alicia Ocasio, and just trying to string it together, put things a little bit more straight, and finally scratch a couple runs across the plate today.
Beaubien got the start this morning. She had pitched now 13 consecutive innings, finishing off the first game yesterday against UAB, then pitching 6 in the run rule victory over Georgia State. She pitched 6 this morning against Florida, so she probably will not come into this game at any point, you'd have to think. And as a result, getting the start for the Wolverines will be Tara Blanco. She pitched 6 against UAB in the first game yesterday, was very solid, serviceable. Beaubien obviously very impressive, but they're going to turn over to the senior right-hander today for the Wolverines, whereas USF will be going with a freshman of their own, Georgina Korek. They had 3 different pitchers come into their game against Georgia State last night. They won 5-4, and their returning pitchers, Cheyenne Eggins and JoJo McGill, both didn't pitch all too well. Georgina Korek, however, much stronger in her appearances yesterday. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 walks, but no runs allowed, 6 strikeouts. So we'll see how she does facing this Michigan order. We'll go through off at second base. Natalie Peters, who had been hitting eighth can from this order, she's been bumped all the way up to second. She'll be playing center field as usual. Blanco, the pitcher, will be batting third. Falk will be moved to first base with Blanco in the circle as expected. She's batting fourth. Madison Uden will be fifth. She's the designated player today. Meanwhile, Thais Gonzalez playing right field. She has been moved to sixth. She'd been hitting second throughout this weekend tournament. Katie Alexander, usual spot behind the dish, batting seventh. Natalia Rodriguez, who we've seen pinch hit twice now in this tournament, and 2 hits for her in her 2 pinch hit appearances, including with 2 outs in the 7th against Florida today. She'll be getting her first ever start at shortstop. And then, interesting name, Courtney Richardson. Played a lot of games last season for the Wolverines. She has not played at all, seemingly passed in the rotation by Thais Gonzalez. We even saw Haley Hoganrod yesterday, but Richardson will get her first appearance of the season. She will not be sent to the plate, however. Uden, the designated player, Richardson, though, will be in left for the Bulls. Lauren Evans playing first and leading off, followed by Kelsey Lay playing second. Batting third, Aston Donovan in center field. Samantha Worrell at third base will be the number 4 in the lineup. Macy Cook, number 5, she's behind the plate. Mia Fung in right field, batting 6th. Amber Atkinson in left field, batting 7th. Cassidy Boyle, batting 8th, playing shortstop. And on position 9th in the batting order. And out come the Bulls. Michigan getting ready. Canfield and Peters about set to go, just a shade before 3:45. Beautiful day.
Yeah, the wind has picked back up a little bit from where it was this morning. We're going to hover closer to 70 degrees here down in Tampa. It's a lot warmer down on the field. We're up here in kind of a wind tunnel on the mezzanine level, but Georgina Korek out there warming up. Michigan, as we saw, a lot of lineup changes between the Florida game and this one, so trying to get some of those sort of utility players a little bit more action. We'll see how Taylor Swearingen holds up defensively at third base. Had some ups and downs yesterday. And then Thais Gonzalez, we'll see how she does being bumped down in the order. Natalia Rodriguez batting 1,000 after 2 pinch hit appearances, both of them coming up roses. And that's going to do it for Michigan as we get underway. So,
and with that, Canfield gets her name announced, steps out of the batter's box, takes a couple of practice cuts, now going to dig in. The Bulls in the field, their defensive alignment set up. Interesting, the first and third baseman playing in a little bit. Canfield had 2 homers in games 1 and 2 yesterday, 1 in each of the games. And the first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner, and we are officially underway. Canfield just looks at it, steps out of the box. 1 practice swing, digs in, taps the plate once, and now sets the bat over the right shoulder. A little bit low on that one from Corrick.
Just a hair inside as well, and she definitely lacks some of the velocity that Michigan saw this morning in Kelly Barnhill and Alicia Ocasio.
A little bit of change of pace. The 1-1. Swing and a foul ball. Decently well hit down the left field line, but pulled well foul by Canfield. Overall, on the weekends so far, in 3 games, 4 of 8 for Canfield. 2 homers, 3 RBIs. Looked pretty strong so far, and she's expected to carry a lot of weight offensively for the Wolverines. Corrick twirls the ball a couple of times. The 1-2, swinging a ground ball to second base. Easy flip and play there by Lay. So 1 out.
Yep, just the chopper on the 2-hop over to Lay. An easy play, got in front of it, and the quick toss for the first out.
So that'll bring up Natalie Peters, one of 4 lefty hitters we have in the lineup today. On the weekend, 2 of 5. She had a double in this morning's game. Corrick waits and delivers. Takes a strike. Peters, one of the several run up and slap it hitters for the Wolverines, along with Gonzalez too.
You always like to see that slapping ability at that 2 spot, so that's probably why you have Thais Gonzalez down to 6th and Peters moving up from 9th.
Would make sense. There's a called strike, so quickly ahead in the count now is Corrick, 0-2 on Peters. Crowd is thinned out a little bit down the third base side. That was where we had a lot of Gators fans earlier. They're done for the day, so they filed out, but certainly on the first base line, still a lot of Michigan fans to take this one in. The 0-2, swinging a foul ball. Goes off the screen up by the Michigan dugout. A little late on that swing, just taps it the opposite way.
Look for Peters to maybe take one more step back in the box, and she does. She puts that back foot right to the back chalk.
The 0-2. Swing and a bouncer right back to the mound. Goes off of Corrick. She's going to have to hurry, and no play. Peters will get down to first with an infield single. Comebacker right to the mound. Corrick couldn't quite handle it, and with Peters' speed, you got no play.
And not really a hard comebacker either. It bounced once up into the glove of Corrick, just couldn't squeeze the leather to it. And the speedy Peters gets down the baseline, and Michigan has their first runner on for the game.
So here's the pitcher, Blanco. She's been alternating between first and pitcher in this series. This is her 2nd start in the circle. She's hit a lot of balls hard. She had a double in the first of that Florida game. One of the 2 hard hit balls off of Barnhill that resulted in her being yanked after 2. The first pitch is going to be a tad high. Ball 1.
And again, Tara making good contact against Florida. It's just a matter of straightening it out a hair, maybe getting it a bit more underneath or just getting on top a bit more. Has had a lot of line drives out to left and right field.
The 1-0 is on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Peters took a few steps off, and the catcher, Cook, jumped up immediately to see if Peters was going to go down towards second. She held up, though, so the count 1-1 on Blanco. Balk in the on-deck circle to the left. Corrick, the righty, waits and delivers. That's a called strike right over the heart of the plate. 1-2.
Just a hair of rising action on that one as it comes over the plate. and right into the waiting glove of Cook. So a good pitch there from Coric as she sets herself up here ahead in the count 1-2. Has some room to play on Tara Blanco, and she'll take some time to think about it.
Looks like we got a called timeout. Not sure exactly what's going on. The shortstop for the Bulls trotting over there, Cassidy Boyle. Looks like she took something out of her hair maybe, or out of her mouth. Not sure. She handed it to an equipment person in the Michigan dugout, though. Sure what that was. The 1-2 just off the plate outside, 2-2.
Yeah, just a slight equipment malfunction. But again, Coric trying to come back on that outside edge.
Unable to get the call. We saw a lot of that outside edge in the Florida game. The 2-2. That's inside. Peters taking off. Throw down way over the head of the second baseman. And into center field. Good news for the Bulls, though. Donovan backing up Lay as it went right over her head. An errant throw from Cook.
Don't think that was the original plan for Peters to go on that. It was more a go-on contact situation, but wound up sprinting towards second and another skied throw. That's the second stolen base for Michigan this season. Both have been met with poor throws from behind the plate, making them easy bags.
So the count now is full on Blanco and a runner in scoring position. The 3-2. Swing and a high pop-up. It's going to go over our heads and land, it looks like, into the baseball stadium that's on the other side of where we are in the divider between softball field and the baseball field. So the count stays full, 3-2. Michigan with runners in scoring position, 0 for 4 today against Florida, just unable to scratch across the needed runs. Opportunity to jump out here. The 3-2 to Blanco. Swing and out in front of it again. Pushes it well foul down the left field line. It looks like it again bounces out into the outfield of the baseball stadium.
As Aiden Falk stands waiting in the on-deck circle, Michigan trying to get something cooking here early. We're going to have a quick break to get some fresh softballs out here on the field.
All those foul balls really early on by the Wolverines, forcing them to restock early here in the middle of the first inning. Count still full on Blanco. Defense aligned pretty normally for USF. Coric waits and delivers. The 3-2 swing and a hard hit ball right to second baseman Lay. Throws over to short. Boyle unable to get back. Peters does return, but again, hard contact, no results for Blanco.
And again, Carol Hutchins is happy with that at bat for Tara Blanco. She battled it out. She got some really good contact on another full count pitch. But again, just unlucky as it hangs about a foot over the dirt right into the waiting glove of Lay.
But Peters able to get back, so the threat continues. 2 outs, runner on second. Falk in the box. Pitch inside, and it's going to get away from the catcher Cook, and down to third goes Peters.
So that will all but ensure a base knock scoring Natalie Peters.
Not sure if they're going to call it a wild pitch or a pass ball, but that pitch just rode inside on the lefty Falk and got away back to the backstop. The 1-0, swing and a miss.
Yeah, Falk was definitely looking to do something with that pitch. Took a heavy cut at it. It's like golf. When you try to kill it, it doesn't go well. You just got to stroke it nicely.
Yep. And that, again, kind of a change of pace, Coric. That was only 66 from her. Swing and a foul tip back to the screen. So now 1-2 on Falk. She had a couple big hits in the Friday games. Quiet against Florida, as most of the lineup was. Ahead in the count is Coric. She has some room to work. The 1-2. Swing and a high pop-up into shallow left field. And coming in for the Bulls is Atkinson. She makes the grab. And that'll end the top of the first. Michigan gets an infield hit from Peter. She steals second, gets down to third, but unable to come in. So the runners in scoring position woes continue. We go to the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and again, a good start to the game, at least for Coric, as she's able to stymie the Wolverines in their first chance at the plate. So we'll see how they handle it. Again, Michigan, back in the first game this morning against Florida, had a rough go through the first time through the lineup. But Florida deep enough in that pitching staff that Tim Walton made the choice to switch from Barnhill over to Ocasio, and that really threw the Wolverines off as they were just starting to kind of figure out Barnhill and start to tee up some of her pitches. So we'll see how Michigan does as they continue through the lineup on the first go-round, and we'll see if they get a little bit more queued up onto Coric.
A good point about not having a lot of time to figure out the pitchers. I've always felt in baseball when they do a bullpen day where you have just different pitchers every at-bat, that's always tough because you get in a groove against a starter. And Michigan had prepped so much for Barnhill knowing she was going to be the one they were going to face, and then all of a sudden just kind of an interesting switch-up threw them for a loop. But out comes Tara Blanco into the circle. She was very strong in her first game out there against UAB. She was the number 2 of the staff behind Megan Betza a year ago, and so far from what we've seen here in Tampa, it looks like she'll be the number 2 again, but this year behind a different Megan Bobian. But you always need a sturdy number 2 to back you up.
Yeah, we'll see how Blanco does here. There was actually a misprint on the scorecard that we got before the game saying that Madison Uden was going to be the starting pitcher for Michigan, so a little confusing, but indeed it is Tara Blanco who trots out to the circle, and she'll go back to work.
Be Lauren Evans, followed by Kelsey Lay and Ashton Donovan to begin this bottom of the first for the Bulls. And the first pitch is taken by Evans for a strike right down the middle.
Evans has had some struggles in the leadoff spot in the first 2 games of the season for the Bulls, just 1 for 6 so far.
Blanco delivers in a ground ball right to third. Swearingen has it, throws. Not a great throw, but a nice job by Falk to stretch her glove and haul it in for an out.
Yeah, as you said, it was a bit far off. It required a reach from Aiden Falk, so we'll see how Swearingen does servicing over at the hot corner today. It was a rough go of it, as we said yesterday in the second game against Georgia State after Alex Subject had a fantastic defensive game over at third base. Swearingen trying to recoup.
So it'll be Kelsey Lay now for the Bulls. She shows bunt and just outside. Looks like a slapper type. Sophomore, wearing number 13, the first lefty hitter of the game for the Bulls, 1 of 4 in the lineup.
And she is playing in just her second game. She missed game action against Illinois State.
And again, kind of showing bunt. And Swearingen coming all the way in from third base to be ready to field it if she made contact. She does not, takes it for a strike, 1-1.
Yep, the corners are definitely shading a few steps inside from the bags. And then second and short playing a little bit further in as well.
Blanco delivers the one line right up the middle. A comebacker fielded now. A chance for Rodriguez. Throws not in time.
That's a bang-bang play down at first. Right on top of it was Peter Blair, and he calls safe. It looked pretty darn close to a tie, so you'll give it to the runner, but it's a good effort by Michigan to still make the attempt over at first base on the comebacker that bounces off the glove of Blanco.
And that's now, in the games today, that's really now the third instance of a comebacker right to the mound. We had 2 for Bobian, 1 off the shin that was very similar to that play where it shot over to the shortstop. Uden was playing short in the first game. And now we got a bunt laid down right back to the mound. Throwing down is Blanco. Completes it to Falk. That was number 41, Ashton Donovan. She stepped right in before I had a chance to even announce her name, and boom. Lays the bunt down, pushes the runner over to second. That's where Lay will stand. And an early sign now, JP, that the Bulls are fearing Blanco. They're playing small ball.
No, and that's easy pickings for the Wolverines as well defensively. So it'll advance the runner for USF, but they're going to have to play it a little bit less conservative if they want to start to scratch some runs across here.
First pitch there is a swing and miss. Samantha Worrell, the third baseman, steps into the batter's box.
Some good action on the drop ball there from Tara Blanco. Goes right underneath the bat of Worrell.
0-1. She twists a bit to her right and then steps forward into the delivery. The 0-1. It's a tad high and maybe a bit in, 1-1.
Yeah, trying to climb the ladder there, maybe jam Worrell inside a little bit. Good take there for an even count.
The 1-1 from Blanco, swing and a foul. Rode inside near the hands of Worrell, and she just shoots it back to the screen. 1-2. Blanco, not much of a strikeout pitcher when compared to Betza or Bobian, for instance, but not too shabby herself.
Worrell's been a hot hand so far in the opening couple of games for the Bulls, 3 for 5. She's got 3 RBIs already tallied up in the score column.
The 1-2, that bounces in, but a nice block there from Katie Alexander to keep Lay down at second. She took a few steps off the bag, waiting to see if that got by Alexander. It did not. She did a good job, block it, get in front of it, keep the runner there. The count goes to 2-2 as that was well low in front of the plate. And the pitch, swing and a hard liner down the line, and it's going to catch the chalk into left field corner. Coming around second, they're going to hold her there. A run will score, and the Bulls take an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that's a hard ripper that just stayed fair. It's a fantastic hit for Worrell, and she continues her torrid streak here early on as she tacks on her 4th RBI of the season on a very hard hit ball down that third base line.
Yeah, it was inside on her hands in the pitch right before that. Then there was the ball in the dirt, and then another one sort of inside, turned on it and just yanked it down the line. And that went by Taylor Swearingen. It would have been a tough play, but you have to wonder. So now checking in is the catcher, Macy Cook. That pitch a little high, 1-0.
And so now it's damage control for Blanco. Just try and get out of the bottom of the first here with minimal damage done. She's just got to draw the one more out to get back to the dugout and give her offense a chance to get them back in this.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a foul. That's going to go back and off the netting. Get out into the bushes down the left field line. 1-1 is the count on Cook. Blanco steps back and gets ready to deliver the 1-1 pitch. Ooh,
that's a well-placed pitch. Not quite sure where she missed in the zone there. Perhaps
a hair little high. Yeah.
Count will run to 2-1 on Cook, but Blanco hitting very close to her spots. It's a good pitch to keep going back to.
The 2-1 swing and a miss. Went off speed there, took it down to 61 after the previous pitch had been 70. So a nice change of pace totally fools Cook, and now she's ahead 2-2. Just needs 1 strike to get out of this.
Yep, pulled the string on that one, worked well.
The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. That gets down into the dirt. Picking it up is Alexander. Throwdown to Falk is there, and they get the out to complete the inning. But the Bulls, a strong first inning for USF. They get the advantage of a comebacker. Get a runner on first, and then a hard double from Samantha Worrell drives in the run, and it's 1-0 USF after 1.
And again, now for Michigan, it's time to get to work at the plate. Last game was a story of not being able to score with runners in scoring position. A lot of opportunities for some 2-out offense to put some runners on second, but never anything doing against Florida. So Michigan back to work at the plate now with a 1-run deficit, trying to help out Tara Blanco here.
And a whole big meeting outside the dugout where Carol Hutchins is talking to her troops, getting them ready.
Well, here's what we keep referencing from last season. Really a feeling of a trope change for Michigan after the Florida game here at Wilson DeMarini last season, where they played that 10-run marathon with Florida. They dropped it, but then it was just a story of coming out flat against USF right after that game, perhaps being tired, perhaps not having your mind quite in it. And so maybe Carol Hutchins is seeing that a little bit again here, just some small technical things where Michigan can improve in terms of intangibles to get themselves right back into this game, where after they dropped that evening game to USF last season, it was really a shift in feeling for all of the games that succeeded it. And that was where a lot of the struggles arose for Team 40 with the inconsistency and the inability to come up with clutch hitting. So Michigan's got a chance to turn things around after a rough morning. And now they find themselves in a small bit of a pickle here with some adversity, down 1 to start the top of the second.
Madison Uden checking in. She's a designated player today in this game after playing shortstop in the first 3, and she takes Corrick's first pitch a bit high, 1-0.
And it was a big stressor for Tara Blanco at Media Day last week that they don't like to talk about last season, but this is where you can prove that things have changed from Team 40 to Team 41.
And that is a strike right over the heart of the plate, 1-1. Nice pitch there from Corrick, facing Uden. Uden, a lefty. in the right batter's box, and the delivery swing and a miss.
That's a good rise ball there from Korek to get right up above Uden, and that's one that you've got to start to develop an eye to hold off on as you see it release and climb up the ladder.
1-2 now on Uden. Korek delivers, and strike 3 called. Got her on the outside corner. Nice pitch.
Watched it go by like a barn on the side of the road. Can't do that. That's not how you get right back in the game.
That's a rough at-bat for Uden. She goes into the dugout. And now up is Thais Gonzalez. She's playing right field as opposed to left field, where she's been playing most of these games. To begin the season, she's also batting in a different spot, and she swings and misses on the first pitch.
Michigan, again, can't get too eager at the start of these counts. Something that really doomed them in those middle innings against Florida. They saw a lot of quick outs being produced from just being a little over eager at the plate, so some good discipline needed.
That pitch outside, 1-1. Thais Gonzalez had a couple walks and a hit in the games yesterday before being cold against Florida today. She's quick and makes things happen. Normally batting number 2 in the order. Now today, shuffled around, swing and a high fly ball. Popped it up just on the edge of the infield into the outfield, where the catch is made by Boyle, the shortstop ranging backwards, and she hauls it in. So now 2 outs.
Yep, good communication from USF there as they track over second and short, get underneath it and make the play for the easy out. And very quickly now, Michigan with 2 down here in the top 2.
Taylor Swearingen steps in. She was 2 for 3 in the games yesterday, got a start in the second one. And she swings and pops it straight up over our heads. Might have gone into the baseball stadium. Tough to tell exactly where that went, but sky-high pop-up. Count will go to 0-1.
And Swearingen, as we said, trying to figure herself out of the doghouse here. After a rough defensive performance, has struggled at the plate. Just 2 for 3.
Just off the plate.
So a decent start this season, but historically not known for her bat. So if she can keep up this production that we saw in her 1-game appearance so far, it'll do her well in keeping a position in this lineup.
Swings the bat once, then puts it over the right shoulder. Wait for Korek's delivery. That's a pitch. Ooh. Not sure where that one missed.
That's a bit outside. Trying to maybe frame it there at the last second and pull it back towards the plate was Cook. Could not get the call, though.
2-1 on Swearingen. Digs back in and awaits Korek's delivery. Swing and another high pop-up. Again, going way backwards. That one looks like it's going to get out of the stadium straight back.
And so it's buckle down time for Swearingen. Have to protect that plate with 2 strikes. Anything close, you can't let it go by, which is exactly what Uden did just a moment ago. Got to protect that plate with 2 on you.
2 on, 2-2 with 2 outs for Swearingen. Here's the pitch. That one's high, 3-2. She did draw a walk in the games yesterday, so perhaps looking to get herself on through that maneuver. See what she gets offered from Korek as the count now is full, 3-2. And the pitch, swing and a miss. That looked a tad outside.
Yeah, probably could have let that one go, but again, you're in plate protection mode, but she just couldn't catch up to that last pitch, and that'll do it for Michigan again. Very quick 1-2-3 here in the second. So Tara Blanco will head back out to the circle and try and keep things moving on defense quickly so Michigan can get back to the plate in the third, but not looking so great so far at the plate for the Wolverines.
Blanco steps back out to the circle. She has to wait a minute because the catcher, Alexander, was on the on-deck circle and was only able to wear the shin pads, had to go back into the dugout to get the full chest protection and the helmet. Now she comes out of the dugout, followed quickly behind her by Taylor Swearingen. Blanco begins her warm-up pitches. Our score as we go to the bottom of the second remains 1-0 USF here on WCBN Sports, the home of Michigan softball on the Student Softball Radio Network.
And they've been picked to finish third this season within the AAC USF, so they're trying to make a case here early on with a string of victories. They're 2-0 already, as we said, with wins against Illinois State and Georgia State.
This is the meat of the tournament upcoming for the Bulls with Michigan. Then they'll play Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, going to be Fung, Atkinson, and Boyle. So hopefully working quickly through the bottom end of this order for Blanco.
And that's what she needs here in this second inning. Work quickly and get through it. Fung digs in, the righty hitter, and it's low and inside. Gets away from Alexander. She trots over, picks it up, and fires it down to Blanco. Alexander checks her wristband and then goes down into the crouch position. Blanco delivers the 1-0 strike on the inside corner.
That's a good pitch there for Blanco. Fung was trying to crowd the plate, make it look inside, but a good pitch is a good pitch, and the home plate umpire goes up with the right arm.
1-1 on Fung. Blanco delivers. Uh-oh. That hitter rode in on the inside, looked like it got her off the knee. And Fung will take first base, and the leadoff runner is on.
Number 6, the designated player, Amber Atkinson.
Not what you wanted to see.
And now again, it's an interesting situation for Tara Blanco. How aggressive does she get? And how short of a leash is she on here? Still rocking the dirt on the front of her jersey from her double back in the Florida game.
First pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner by Amber Atkinson. Interesting, they've switched up the lineup a little bit from what we were handed. Atkinson is actually the designated player today. Anna Marie Bruni, a left fielder.
Atkinson, great so far, 3 for 4 in the first 2 games for USF.
Late on that 0-1 delivery, just got a piece of it and flipped it back to the screen, but now quickly Blanco ahead 0-2.
Has an RBI already and a handful of base knocks to her name, so exactly why you don't want to put somebody like Fung on base who wasn't a good hitter to begin with, and then you drop back into a much more favorable hitting position for the Bulls.
The 0-2 bounce right in front of the dish. Nice block, though, by Alexander, keeping the runner on first.
Alexander's been busy so far today, smothering some of these pitches from Blanco. Just got to try and keep it up a little bit longer. Some of these will turn into pass balls eventually if she can't get that control under.
The 1-2, just off the plate outside. Trying to get Atkinson to chase.
Outside edge has been a hard place to hit for these pitchers. Throughout the tournament and all the games we've seen, it's been a tough call.
The 2-2 from Blanco. Swing and a high fly ball into right field. Backing up is Thais Gonzalez. She'll make the catch and fire it in.
It's a good job by Gonzalez. When you switch from left to right field between these games, you got to readjust your bearings. Did a good job to get back over to her right. Just a few steps shy of the warning track to get under that fly.
She took the right path that you'd want, moved over, and hauled it in. So 1 out, and in steps the shortstop, Cassidy Boyle. 1 on, 1 out. And Blanco's first pitch is a tad inside, so she's got to be careful after the way she beat Fung.
Fung is still standing on first base with 1 out. USF trying to add on to a 1-run lead. Hard to come by have been the runs for Michigan so far, so anything USF can tack on will be exponentially helpful.
And now the runner goes in a fly ball down the left field line. That one is deep, and it is gone, a home run. Cassidy Boyle hits a 2-run shot out to left field, and now the Bulls take a 3-0 lead.
And Blanco left that breaking ball hanging right out over the plate. And a fantastic job by Boyle to just give it a ride over that left field fence.
So now we got a conference on the mound between these infielders and the catcher, Alexander. Blanco shaking her head, slams the ball back into her glove.
And it is just shadows of last year's Florida USF back-to-back for Michigan. They have to buckle down now and get out of this inning.
So Anna Marie Bruni steps in, the lefty hitter, and she shows bunt and takes a strike.
Blanco's got to settle down. There's a lot of softball to play still here.
A lot of time.
Just need to range it in.
Bruni gets ready to take the 0-1 delivery. That one's outside and low.
Tara just struggling to find herself in the circle so far.
Count goes to 1-1. Steps back and gets ready. The 1-1 pitch again showing bunt, and they say she went around with a strike. 1-2. Falk and Swearingen at first and third both in a couple of steps.
Could really use a put out here.
Blanco waits and delivers. The 1-2. Got her on the outside corner. Nice pitch. That's strike 3 call.
That's a great moving action on that pitch. Rose up a little bit right at the end. Little combination that fooled Bruni, and it'll send her back to the dugout. That's a real important confidence-gaining strikeout for Tara Blanco to try and get her footing back under her after a rough start.
Well, 2 outs now. Lauren Evans digs in. And that pitch is significantly low. It bounces about a foot in front of home plate, 1-0.
And, you know, there's something in that release point for Tara Blanco so far today where a lot of those pitches that she's trying to throw with some mustard on them are just getting released a little bit too low, and they keep winding up, bouncing in the dirt.
And that's a rocket right back up the middle and a base hit there for Evans. She will get down to first. And a 2-out single.
And Tara is frustrated as she throws that ball back into her mitt. Just needs one more out. Trying to limit the damage.
The inning.
Yep.
And now stepping in will be Kelsey Lay with a runner on and 2 outs. Blanco delivers the first pitch, and it is inside. 1-0.
Another one that Alexander has to smother, and she is still yelling encouragement out to Tara Blanco, who just does not have it right now.
Blanco really all over the place at the current moment.
Just got to settle in and play her game.
The 1-0 delivery is outside corner, strike called.
And that's a good pitch for Blanco to come back on. She took her time, took a deep breath, slowed down her motion a little bit on that one, and it did wonders for her. So just continue to take your time and work effectively and efficiently.
The 1-1. Just a tad outside.
Still trying to paint those outside edges. Even when they've been right on the mark, they're still not a great go-to against this umpiring crew. They've got a pretty tight zone on the outer edges.
The 2-1 swing and a miss. Foolder went back to 61 miles an hour on that one and just dropped it in there. And a silly swing and a miss from Kelsey Lay. So now 2 strikes. This is her opportunity to get out of it. Blanco needs one more pitch here. Checks her wristband on the left arm. Steps back into the circle. Twists and delivers. The 2-2 swing and a miss. She got her on strikes.
And that's a great way to come back after the 2-run home run. She gave up the base knock and came back after that again. Got the good strikeout to end the inning. So there's somewhere to build off of for Tara Blanco when she'll have to come back out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But right now it's all on Michigan's offense to try and work back into this game. So, again, we keep referencing shades of last year. This is where things kind of sputtered downhill. The loss of concentration, the inability to hit in a timely manner. Something that we're going to be keeping an eye on here throughout the game. But a quick invitation, as always, to interact with us throughout the game on Twitter at WCBN Sports. Feel free to shoot us any comments, questions, concerns that you have during the game. As always, also comment on the YouTube live feed. Let us know how we're doing. It's Drain's first play-by-play. Sounding great so far.
If only the game were going a little bit better.
Hopefully we get some Michigan runs here for you to throw out on the airwaves soon.
Well, you got to think that Michigan's offense is going to break out at some point.
They've got the ability to mash some balls. They just haven't been able to do it at the right moment. A lot of really good hard contact against Florida this morning. Just couldn't land them in the right spots.
15 runs scored in yesterday's 2 games. Not quite the same today. And leading off for the Wolverines is Katie Alexander. We're almost one way through the lineup. It'll be Alexander, then Rodriguez, and Canfield. Be nice to get the leadoff runner on for Michigan as a way to start a rally. And the first pitch pop up on the first base side, and that's not what the doctor ordered. Easy play there for Evans, 1 out.
Again, I don't understand why you're not just taking a couple pitches at the start of the at-bats now. Just way too eager, thinking everything is a good pitch to hit. Not a way to get right back into this game, as Alexander's going to stop and talk to Natalia Rodriguez and give her a couple tips before she heads to the batter's box.
Rodriguez, 2 for 2 in her career. She's the only freshman hitter that we have seen so far for the Wolverines. 2 pinch hit singles. And she is going to take a pitch outside, 1-0. Steps out of the batter's box, 1 practice swing, steps back in, taps the plate twice, and gets ready for the delivery. And that's a strike.
Rodriguez has been good so far in 2 pinch hit appearances in her young Michigan career. This would be a great time to do another. Get back on base and get something going here with 1 out in the 3rd.
1-1, and Korek delivers just outside, 2-1. Good at bat from Rodriguez so far, taking her pitches, seeing what she can get.
Showing some more veteran signs than a lot of the veterans we've seen so far at the plate.
2-1 on Rodriguez. And she makes contact, but right to the 3rd baseman. And it is hauled in there by Worrell.
Yeah, she got knuckled inside on that one. Couldn't get it to foul territory, and it goes right into the glove of the 3rd baseman, who was playing nice and shallow.
So Michigan 1 way through the order, and only 1 hit for Peters. That's it.
It was an error, actually, on the part of USF, not even a hit down on the scoreboard. So
yeah, they marked it now down as an error. So Michigan has seen her twice, and now a pop-up by Canfield left side. This is going to be a really quick inning. It is hauled in there by the shortstop Boyle, and 1, 2, 3.
Patience is definitely not a virtue for the Wolverines so far here in this game. And it's dooming them 9 outs through. They've got nothing to show.
Wolverines.
Kind of a mum feeling here for the Michigan fans at USF Softball Stadium. Normally a much more vocal bunch.
Well, there's not a whole lot going on right now.
And that's quickly how the energy dies in this game.
Yep.
Lack of action, a lack of support.
Coming out here in the bottom of the 3rd is the Wolverines' defense, fielding some grounders. Blanco doing her warm-up pitches.
So again, at times last year when it would get into situations like this Michigan team, not always the fastest to start rooting from the dugout for their teammates. There wasn't always that kind of camaraderie, that sort of team feel that you get from a lot of really good teams that know how to support one another when they're down. So Michigan would do well to get vocal here for Tara Blanco and start to give her some cheers from the dugout maybe. Some of the fans would be doing well to get into it. It has not been her day.
So for the Bulls leading off, it will be Aston Donovan, the 3-4-5 of the lineup. Will face Blanco. She steps in and is ready to go. Donovan checks into the batter's box. And the first pitch is a strike on the outside corner.
It's a good way to start. Again, getting ahead of batters is the first step to getting to that strong cycle of success in the circle. First pitch strikes, very important, something that Blanco has not always been great with.
0-1. She waits and delivers. That pitch high up by the elbows. Count will go to 1-1. Blanco steps back on, twists, and gets ready for the delivery. The 1-1 pitch just off the plate outside. 2-1 on Donovan.
She has had so many pitches so far already in this game that have come close to hitting the corners she wants on the zone, but just can't quite reel it in.
The 2-1 and a swing and a ground ball right to first. Aiden Falk gets down, fields it, and taps the bag for an easy out. 1 up, 1 down. This is the way they want to start the inning for Blanco.
It is, but also it was good hard contact. So again, trying not to leave that ball so out over the plate when she gets behind in the count. So getting ahead, but when she gets behind, she starts to be a little lackadaisical, has to force herself into putting some meaty pitches out there.
Here's Samantha Worrell. She checks in and takes a ball inside. 1-0.
Worrell had that double back in the first inning that brought around the first run of the game for USF.
The 1-0, and that's a hard grounder down the third base line, right by the same spot as her double, but that one a few feet foul. Out in front of it a bit and just pulls it down the third baseline foul. Here's the 1-1 now, and that's a hard liner right to short, though, and caught in midair by Rodriguez. So now 2 outs, but again, decent contact for the Bulls.
Yeah, that one maybe just a bit too underneath it as it had some soft lining contact right over into the glove of Natalia Rodriguez, getting her first big game action at short.
Lofted up a little bit, so now 2 outs. And a chance for the first 1-2-3 inning, also the first scoreless inning that Michigan will have pitched. Just off the outside part of the plate against Macy Cook, catcher.
Blanco struck her out in her first at-bat. Just trying to get back to basics, fool her again, and get back to the dugout with a quick 1-2-3.
That is what they would very much prefer, and that's a strike right over the plate, 1-1. Just look for a quick inning. Send the troops back out there.
Blanco will have a turn in the next half inning to try and help her own cause at the plate. So just trying to get back to that batter's box.
1-1 on Cook. Blanco delivers, and that's a hard liner down the left field line and foul.
Again, Michigan fans' hearts jumping for just a moment. Another hard liner right down the foul line. Luckily, this time it just goes to the left edge of that line. Over the chalk.
Getting a lot of contact off of Blanco. Count now 1-2 on Cook. Blanco waits and delivers that pitch inside. And a little low, 2-2.
Has a little bit of room to work. Not necessarily where you want to try and get somebody to fish that far inside and low. Maybe try and draw up or outside.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. She got her on strikes.
As we said, she went up and out and got the chase from Cook, and that's her second strikeout of the game, Cook's, and that will send Blanco back to the dugout.
So once again, we have the full team conference with Carol Hutchins.
Her 4th strikeout of the game for Tara. And yeah, Hutch still just trying to get some fire under this team. If there's anybody that can put a fire under some Tookuses, it's Carol Hutchins.
Yeah, she needs to rally the offense. They just need a really strong inning. Get some ducks on the pond, get some big hits, and really, gain confidence. And this will be, in this inning, it'll be Peters, Blanco, and Falk, all of them facing Corrick for the second time. So if they have any adjustments to make, this is the time you'd make them. Seen her once already, the freshman Corrick. Now this is where you start to adjust your game. Conference breaks for the Wolverines. And Peters is getting ready. Has her batting helmet on. Quick conversation with the freshman Taylor Bump. Not sure what they were talking about. Now she'll talk to Hutchins as she gets ready to stroll in. Falk will follow her, putting on her batting gloves, waiting to take the on-deck circle. And now
it's a meaty chance for Michigan. They've got to produce something here in this half inning.
Yeah. The score 3-0. USF over Michigan through 3 innings of play. Wolverines are in a long, scoreless drought dating back to that Florida game where they were shut out this morning. And now first pitch swinging by Peters, and she just pokes it. Fouled on the left field line.
Yeah, kind of a half swing. Didn't really follow through on it and went a little oppo to the foul side.
Might have been able to do something with it if she had followed through.
Yeah, right where the grass meets the dirt. Just got to get around on it a little bit better.
And now the Michigan dugout is a little bit more vocal than they had been. The 0-1 in, ooh, strike.
That's a good pitch on the inside edge. Not one that as a hitter you really want to take because it'll jam you right up, but one that is hard to let go as well. And that's why a good called strike for Corrick.
0-2 now. And Peters hits a chopper right back to the mound. Corrick's got to hurry, though, and she does. Quick out. So now 9 up, 9 down in the last 9 hitters for Corrick. Since that Peters reaching on an error. Michigan still looking for their first hit of the game.
Well, this is what we said. We'll see how Michigan would do the second time through. So far, the first 2 unable to do anything against Corrick, who has been very good so far in her innings of work.
Tara Blanco steps in with 1 out. That pitch outside, 1-0. And these are the big hitters coming up between Blanco and Falk. This is their opportunity to get something going. The 1-0 from Corrick. Strike on the inside part of the plate. Blanco takes it, 1-1.
As we said, she can really do something to help herself out here, contribute some offense, make things a little more comfortable in the circle.
The 1-1 outside, 2-1. Steps out with 1 leg. Twirls the bat a bit, then taps it on the plate. Gets ready for the next delivery. 2-1. Corrick fires and inside. 3-1, or maybe low. Tough to tell from our angle, but the count goes to 3-1.
Yeah, that was a good pitch. The USF fans with a little groan at the end of that one. Again, well placed, but just a hair off somewhere for the home plate umpire.
And now 3-1. The delivery. Blanco swinging a fly ball down the left field line. Hooking. Gone. A home run. I think. Yep, the left field line umpire signaling home run. And Blanco rounding the bases. And Michigan is on the board.
And that was sorely needed. As Tara Blanco able to finally get a hold of one that nobody else can touch as she sends it over the left field wall. And she'll touch them all.
Just yanks it down the line, and it barely stayed fair. Hit the tree past the foul pole.
That'll put a charge back into the Michigan fans here in the crowd as well as the dugout. So hopefully a big momentum builder as Blanco's given up 3, but she just got 1 back.
We'll see if Falk can follow up. And she swings at a fly ball down the left field line. This one's arcing, and it is going to go foul off the roof of a patio out there right past the left field foul pole. That was well hit, too.
Very, very close to back-to-back pitch home runs. Just pulled that, or pushed that, I should say, a little bit too far down that left line, but I was up on my feet for a second again.
Corrick's got to be careful now. The 0-1, swing and a foul, just straight back over our heads off the roof.
And again, Tara Blanco's home run coming again with good plate discipline. She worked the count decent. She got herself a nice pitch to hit, so you can't get too eager off of that. Again, it's not all going to come back on one swing, so good patience at the plate and wait for the right pitch from Corrick.
But Falk has seen some decent pitches. That one outside, 1 and 2. She's liked what she's seen, and she's been willing to swing. Fouled a couple off, and now the count 1 and 2.
It's a Blanco blast, as we call it. The big bomb over the left fence.
Corrick waits and delivers to Falk. The 1-2, swinging a fly ball into the gap. It is back to the track, to the wall. It's gone! A home run! Aiden Falk to left center, and Michigan 3-2.
Well, she sat back in the count again. She got something nice, and she sent it right over the 210 sign in left center field, and jumping unable to make the play was Bruni. And back-to-back home runs for the Wolverines have injected a little life right back into the veins of this game.
Well, we said the offense was going to break out at some point, and now back-to-back home runs from the Big Boppers.
A Blanco blast and an airmail Aiden back-to-back. How about it for Michigan?
4th home runs of the season for the Wolverines. Yesterday they had 2, both off the bat of Canfield. And now Uden steps in a 3-2 game and having just some really good pitches. Michigan having seen, we'll see what Uden does here, and she swings first pitch, but it's a little nubber in the infield. Going to be a tough play for the shortstop, Boyle. She does not have one. And an infield single, not nearly as hard hit as those couple of homers, but it all goes down the same as single.
And that's exactly what we were talking about in the Florida game. Michigan finally stringing a few important hits together. A couple back-to-back home runs, another runner on base, all with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And they're back within 1, and they've got something brewing on the base pads.
Uden on first. Thais Gonzalez now in the batter's box. The lefty hitter getting ready for a delivery. That pitch is outside off the plate, and this is something we've now starting to see from Corrick, not hitting her spots as much as she was earlier.
And Corrick was really good on first pitch strikes back at the start of this game, and she has fallen behind on those as well. A 1-0 count to start the at-bat to Thais.
Uden on first, and that pitch is high. They're going to throw down. She's stealing, and she is safe into second.
A good move. I think she might have slid in and also knocked the ball out of the glove of the shortstop, Boyle.
I think it looks like a called strike, 1-1.
It was a called strike, but a good stolen base for Madison Uden. That's her first of the season.
That's making things happen on the base paths, moving a runner into scoring position. Now the tying run, perhaps only a single away, and now we got a conference out on the mound.
That will draw out the coaching staff to try and settle down Corrick.
Daryl Hutchins talking with her first base coach.
Couple very nice home run calls by you, Drain. Doing well in your play-by-play role. I like it.
I was ready for those.
You just got to get the alliterations down for each of them.
Yeah.
We'll see how Corrick responds now. So very similar to the situation that Terra Blanco was in not too long ago. You give up a couple big shots. You put a couple runs up on the board. Now it's time to settle in and respond and keep Michigan from adding on as USF clings to a 1-run lead. But Michigan's now got another runner in scoring position, and this is where they've struggled. They got 2 home runs, but runners in scoring position have been a struggle.
Damage control time for the Bulls. The 1-1 to Gonzalez, swing and a miss.
And she was far behind on that one.
64 on the gun was that delivery from Corrick. She's now ahead of Gonzalez, 1-2. Uden on second. Looking to try to score if there is a single. The 1-2 pitch on the outside corner. Got her. Nice strikeout.
That's hard as a slapper. You see it release, and you think it's going to start tailing from right to left in your line of vision and get over the outer edge of the plate, but nothing doing there, and that's a bad take by Thais Gonzalez, and she'll be shown back to the dugout. A good pitch from Corrick.
A little bit of a rough at-bat, but Uden is still on second. Now it's Taylor Swearingen's opportunity to knock in the game-tying run, and a pitch just misses outside, 1-0.
A big opportunity for Swearingen to make some noise here with Uden on second. A little 2-out offense again. Michigan has not played well with runners in scoring position. We can only say it so many times.
The 1-0 outside. Swearingen, a couple good takes here, and she's ahead 2-0. Looks like she'll have an opportunity to hit something.
That's a close, hard take for Swearingen. It's a good pitch from Corrick that, again, those outside edges are just kind of tight today.
2-0. Swearingen gets ready, see what she can get here. The 2-0 pitch. That's a strike over the plate. 2-1 on the right-handed third baseman.
Takes a quick lean on the bat, a couple practice cuts. Got to time it up right. She's taken a couple big swings in her at-bats before.
The 2-1 swing and a miss. That was not a good-looking swing.
She caught a very small piece of it at the end of that swing, but she was trying to send that one over the fences as well. She had that big arcing cut trying to get under the ball and drive it a long way.
But, I mean, the thing is, Michigan only needs a single here to tie the game, potentially. You don't need a homer. You need to be disciplined. The 2-2 pitch from Korek. Ooh, just on the outside part of the plate, but does not get the call.
That is a hard take again by Swearingen. She's really letting them go on that outside corner when they are pretty darn close.
Well, that's the way it was in the games yesterday. Swearingen's been taking a lot of pitches. Perhaps not too willing to swing. 3-2 now from Korek, and it's swinging a fly ball down the left field line, arcing. It will go well foul. Just still a little bit out in front of that one.
And out of the reach of the left fielder, Bruni, as well. Swearingen staying alive, trying to fight for a good pitch to hit. It's been a decent at-bat so far, working the count to full. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
3-2. Korek twirls the ball, the payoff pitch coming. The 3-2 swinging a fly ball. High pop-up into shallow center field. Coming in is the center fielder, and Donovan makes the play. So, Michigan cuts the Bulls' lead to 3-2, but unable to get it closer than that.
Well, 2 very important runs for Michigan. Tara Blanco helping herself out, and then Aiden Falk, the senior captain, doing a little for a friend in the circle. So now Blanco is going to be pitching instead of a 3-run deficit, just a 1-run deficit, so a little more comfortable, but can't get lazy.
So Blanco goes back out there in a kind of a different situation now. The lead for the Bulls much, much smaller, and Michigan has to have the confidence that they're going to make the comeback if they can keep it, though, to 1. That's the important thing here, because when it's 1, it's only a swing away.
And a little Sweet Caroline, something that we always used to do with Morris Fabry here in the booth. So, Morris, if you're listening back at home in snowy Michigan, touching you. Come on, Drain, right here with me. Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Never seemed so good. You get dinner and a show here on WCBN Sports. It's a fan favorite for those of you listening for the first time. That was something that we used to do a lot. Singing Sweet Caroline throughout the broadcast every time it came on the stadium PA. So just a little humanity injected here into the game.
Blanco goes back out to work. We got a junior announcer calling the lineups now for the USF softball stadium. And Mia Fung now out there. She'll take a pitch. Oh! She had a check swing, and they say she went.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good call down at first base. I don't know. They got the appeal. That's a good job by Alexander to ask for the appeal on one that's close. And it looked like Fung held up, but she's rung up over at first.
The 0-1, that's a strike on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, right up at the letters again. Some rising action from Tara Blanco. Very quickly out in front, 0-2. You can see a little bit more confidence, a little more swagger in her step as she leans back and delivers here.
That's a good pitch. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Oh, boy, look out. Fung let the bat go, and it went right back to the screen, bounced off of it. Fans in the front row a little freaked out, but it'll be a strikeout all the same. Was not close to that pitch. Well, Blanco.
That's why there's a big debate in baseball and softball these days about this netting that encompasses the first and third base lines. And that bat went flying. Had there not been a net there, it would have chucked somebody in the front row.
And now the first pitch to Atkinson is popped straight up, and it's going to go off the roof on the first base side.
Got the sun starting to set here in South Florida. Coming into vision here on our perch at the Donaldson deck.
A great day for action, and there's still 2 more games to come. Other teams playing, and that's a swing and a fly ball into center field. Hit well, ranging over is Peters. She makes the catch on the warning track.
Sun in the eyes, a great job of tracking that through the warning track. Atkinson got a lot of it, but just not enough. She did a lot of ground coverage to get to it, and that's a great track and grab in center field.
Hauls it in. And so now Cassidy Boyle, the shortstop, will step in. An opportunity for Michigan to get a 1-2-3 inning. 2 outs. Blanco waits and delivers. She skies it into center field. On the run is Peters, and she's going to make another catch. 2 back-to-back running grabs off solid contact from the 7 and 8 hitters, Atkinson and Boyle, but it's all the same in the outs column.
And again, Peters really showing some good jump off the ball to get to it in center. 2 shots to the warning track and both outs, and that'll get Tara Blanco out of the inning, and it'll get Michigan back to the plate for the top of the 5th with a chance to break into the 1-run lead.
So we conclude 4 innings of action here from the USF softball complex, and the score, USF 3, Michigan 2-4 here on WCBN Sports, the Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. Thank you all for joining us. The Bulls back out into the field doing their warm-ups as Michigan had a quick talk outside their dugout. Now the players all going back down to get their stuff ready to go. Pick up the bats as it'll be Katie Alexander, Natalia Rodriguez, and Faith Canfield 8-9-1 here to start the top of the 5th. Michigan trying to tie or take the lead. And the big thing about that 1-2-3 inning and why those Peters catches were so significant is they preserved the momentum.
Yes, and Michigan's still got a lot of energy in that dugout right now. Coach Hutch is fired up as well.
And there was a lot of good contact, good at-bats in that last inning against Corrick. Have to translate that to some more runs to try to tie or take the lead. Katie Alexander, the catcher, digs in, standing up in the batter's box. And she'll take the first pitch on the outside part of the plate for a strike, 0-1.
Alexander trying to break through at the plate. Could really use something here. She's 2 for 7 so far on the season. She popped over to first in her first at-bat today.
The 0-1 from Corrick is Alexander's just a little bit late on that swing and shoots it the opposite way off the screen. Falling behind now 0-2.
And you hear those chants coming from the Michigan dugout, always an encouraging thing. And like we said, there's a lot of life back in this team now.
The 0-2, just off the plate. Good hard take there from Katie Alexander. 1-2 is the count. Looking to put something in play and get another rally started here in the 5th. Corrick waiting for the signs, twirls the ball, and now the 1-2 swing and a miss.
Yeah, it took a lot off of that one. The off-speed coming in at 57 on the gun here on the scoreboard as it dipped down low in the zone, and Alexander swung right over top of it. It's a good pitch from Corrick for the first out of the inning.
So now Natalia Rodriguez steps up. Started 2 for 2 in her 2 pinch hit opportunities, but was retired in the 3rd.
She nubbed over to Worrell at 3rd on that first at bat.
And she's going to pop up a bunt. Ooh, off the glove of Worrell.
Well, that's a major break for Natalia Rodriguez. It was a bad bunt that she left hanging up in foul territory. And honestly, one that Worrell probably could have sat and waited for it to come down, but she tried to make the jump for it and couldn't squeeze the leather.
Yeah, she started in a little bit, and then it started to carry over her head, had to kind of turn around and readjust. The 0-1 on Rodriguez. Swing and a pop-up right over the catcher, and she'll make the catch, does Cook. So now 2 quick outs. Good bounce back here from Corrick, but we're back to the starting point of the lineup where it'll be Faith Canfield.
Not a great at-bat for Rodriguez, and she'll get an earful from Carol Hutchins as she heads back to the dugout. Probably for the bunt more than the actual out that was recorded.
So now with 2 outs, Faith Canfield is up at the plate. She's a big hitter for the Wolverines. They need her to come through here. 2 home runs in the games yesterday, and she takes the first pitch a tad inside. The USF fans here in the stadium, not a big fan with that call.
Yeah, again, that was a very close pitch, and there have been a few questionable ones. The scoreboard actually rang it up as a strike. I'm not sure if it was a delayed call. I didn't see the arm go up.
Yeah, the arm didn't go up. Well, second pitch of the at-bat coming. That's a strike for sure.
We'll see if he gives the fingers here for the count behind home plate. But right now the scoreboard has it at 0-2, even though the arm didn't go up on the first pitch. So you got to treat it like it's a two-strike situation.
Well, 0-2 here for Canfield. That's outside for sure, 1-2.
Canfield had a hot day yesterday with 2 home runs. Has had a cold start to the game today, 0 for 2. Ground out and a pop out.
It's 1 for 3 against Florida.
And it had to have been a 2-1 count, so it was a ball on that first pitch because that was a called strike, but not strike 3.
Yep, so now 2-2 on Canfield.
Now it's a 2-strike situation.
Corrick delivers the 2-2, swinging a fly ball. Shallow center field coming over is Donovan. She makes the catch. And that'll end the inning. 1-2-3 for Corrick. Nice bounce back for the Bulls, keeping it at 3-2. Now we go to the bottom of the 5th, where Blanco will try to keep it a 1-run deficit.
Michigan still spoiling some chances as they got back to the top of the order that time. So again, it's up to Tara Blanco to put some work in the circle and keep it a 1-run deficit and get back to the batter's box in the 6th inning, as Michigan will be down to 6 outs to get back into this 1-run lead for USF.
Stretch time at the ballpark in between the top and bottom of the 5th. Michigan getting ready, and USF having a conference. Ken Erickson has called a team-wide conversation outside the dugout.
Stadium playlist continues to not disappoint. Little Crazy Train.
Shaking it up.
Big shouts to the folks over in the press box here at USF. They've been cranking some good tunes this weekend.
They've been all over the place.
Before we start the inning, a quick reminder that we will not be on for the Sunday morning finale tomorrow against Illinois State. The flights did not line up to get back in time, so our flight going to take off right during that game. But you'll be able to follow the Michigan softball Twitter account for live updates on that one. Got to get back in time for class, Drain.
Yep. So Blanco gets ready, and she will face Anna Marie Bruni. And Bruni lays down a bunt. Nice job by Canfield to get over, cover the bag, and an out there. Blanco, good throw over. That's how you draw it up. The first baseman comes in to field it. Second baseman gets over. Good fundamental play. And 1 pitch, 1 out. That'll keep it moving.
Again, kind of playing that small ball mentality to have Bruni bunt.
One out in the inning. And now stepping in is Lauren Evans. Just a tad inside, 1-0. That first pitch. Blanco twists and delivers the 1-0 swing and a looper into center field. Natalie Peters coming on, and she will not make the play. It'll drop in just in front of her, but backing her up smartly is Thais Gonzalez, and holds it to just a single for the Bulls.
Well, she can only cover so much ground, and we saw in the last inning that she definitely reeled a few in that were a good distance away, but just unable to get that one with the dive. Good backup, though, from right field there to back it up. Gonzalez doing well.
So now it'll be Kelsey Lay as we start to enter the main part of the order. With 1 out, pitch just off the plate. Blanco's got to be careful. Needs to keep it a 1-run deficit.
Could try and turn 2 here if she can get contact to the dirt.
The 1-0 just off the plate, 2-0 now. Both have missed on the outside part.
A favorable ground ball situation with the slapper here. Michigan has not turned a double play yet this season.
2-0 on Lay. And ground ball foul down the third base line. It's a little behind it. Pokes it the opposite way with the lefty lay.
See what Tara decides to do here. She's got very little wiggle room on the 2-1. Probably try and go with a rise or a fast.
2-1 ground ball to short. Nice diving play by Rodriguez, and what a play! Just flips it with her hand over to second where Canfield covers, and they get the lead runner. That was a play. Getting down, diving, and then the underhanded flip.
That's a great job because she did make the dive, stop the ball, but then it was a difficult transfer to get that ball out of her glove, sort of falling away. She had to backhand flick it to Canfield at second to get the lead runner, and that is a very athletic and adept play for a true freshman at shortstop.
2 outs now. Runner on first. It is Lay this time as the lead runner, Evans, was eliminated. With Ashton Donovan stepping in, she takes a ball. So continually just problems with that first pitch strike right now for Blanco. She gets ready to deliver the 1-0. Swing and a high pop-up down the third base side. We'll see if Swearingen has room. She does not. It lands into some plants behind the Michigan dugout.
A little shrubbery.
Yep.
So still a runner on first for USF, trying to extend the inning, in Michigan trying to cap it so they can get back to the plate and try and scratch one across to bring it back to a tie ball game.
1-1 on Donovan coming from Blanco, and a quick foul back to the screen up on the outside part of the bat and just popped it backwards to the screen. 1-2 coming.
Have to say Blanco's done really well since giving up 3 runs in the first 2 innings to the Bulls. Settled in nicely.
The 1-2 is low. There's a runner going down. The throw. Got her! Alexander catches Lay, stealing at second. What a throw.
That's a fantastic throw and an excellent job as well to apply the tag as she was sliding into the bag at second. And right on top of that one, over at second base was Mike Burwell, who was the home plate umpire in the Florida game earlier today. I don't know. It didn't look from our vantage point like she applied the tag. It was very close. If anything, she got a small nick of the glove on the scoop down. But either way, it's a called third out on the attempted steal, and a great throw from Alexander, by the way, to put it where it needed to be.
Well, defense has been, along with Blanco, significantly better for the Wolverines. 2 really fine plays from Peters in center field. And now a diving play by Rodriguez at short and a throw out on the steal from Alexander. We got some new music playing over the loudspeakers. You know where we are?
In the jungle.
There we go.
I didn't really want to answer that, but I did anyways. Just a moment to praise Katie Alexander as well. She has had her fair share of struggles at the plate so far in these first couple games, but she has been defensively fantastic behind the plate for Michigan in all 4. Has been smothering pitches down in the dirt, stopping pass balls, and then there with her first throw out of the season on a really nice gun down to second, as Kevin Klein just texted into us, a Katie Cannon.
So Michigan has to find a way to scratch across the run before 6 outs. And Natalie Peters will lead off this inning. It's a ball high, trying to get on base and make something happen. She has the ability to steal if she wants to, if she can get on base. That's the big key of why it's important to get her on. And then Blanco and Falk to follow. The 1-0 outside, way outside. Down and away.
So ahead now 2-0, as Corrick will have very few inches to give here to avoid a 3-0 count. Peters can be a little bit more selective.
The 2-0 outside, and it just catches a piece of the plate, 2-1.
That's a good pitch there from Corrick to get right back into the count at 2-1.
On the same place that she had just missed pretty badly to come right back and get that strong strike call. The 2-1 now, and that's inside, 3-1. So now a walk is the same as a single.
We'll see where she tries to go here. Probably towards that outside part of the plate to try and throw off the slapper Peters, who will be angling away towards first.
The 3-1 outs. Oh!
Peters had dropped the bat and headed down the first baseline, but a called strike exactly where I thought. It went right back to that outside part and painted the edge like a Picasso.
3-2 now. And the delivery swing and a liner right to short. And it is caught quickly by Boyle. Good contact. Just no result right there. Tough at bat as a whole for Peters.
Wanted the walk on the 3-ball count, couldn't get it, but did what she could to try and put the ball in play. But a good job over at short by Boyle.
Good job to battle. Here's Blanco. She can give herself a tie ball game when she heads back out there. If she can connect on another homer, we'll see. That pitch outside, 1-0. So Cork starting to fall behind these hitters.
Yeah, she had a home run in the last at bat and also had a really hard line out on a well-connected piece of hitting to Lay back in the first inning.
She's been locked in so far. The 1-0, a strike. Some delayed calls from the umpiring crew right now.
Things slowing down a little bit here in the sunset.
The 1-1 swing and a foul back to the screen. So now 1-2.
Just one out in the inning again. Doesn't need to be the big mashing home run, although she'll take it any way she can get it. But base runners, very important for Michigan.
Can find the gap and get a double. And now we got time called. Blanco steps out. Cook never changes from her crouching position, however, behind the plate. 1-2. Cork waits and delivers just a bit low, I guess.
That's a very hard one to take with 2 strikes in the count. Pretty gutsy there, but Blanco watched it go all the way in, and it's a called ball to even the count at 2-2.
And now we got time called again, and not sure what's going on. Macy Cook stood up.
Looks like she might have something in her eye, a quick adjustment.
2-2. Outside. And another good take from Blanco. Another good at-bat by the Wolverines.
Working it back to full. Got to see what she can do with it. And we'll see where Cork decides to go. She knows Blanco's going to be eager to put the bat to it. Does she try and blow her away and pull a little off it?
The 3-2 way outside, and it's a ball 4, so the tying run is on with only 1 out for the Wolverines.
And she did try to take that changeup, but just lost it to the outer edge.
And we're going to have a pinch runner here. Nikki Wald has stepped out of the dugout. She's been used a couple times already as a pinch runner in this tournament.
Like we said, it was a great job by Tara Blanco to draw that walk. She took a really meaty pitch down in the lower part of the zone on 1-2, and luckily was not rung up for a strike 3, although she very well could have been with a justifiable explanation. But she takes balls 3 and 4.
And we got a pitching change here.
So things are going to slow down now. We'll get the pitching change lined up here for you as well. We'll see who comes out of the dugout for the Bulls.
It's going to be Hannah Parker, number 32. She is a lefty, a senior. See what data we can get on her.
A little digging here on USF. Last season statistics, 2.76 ERA for Parker. She was 10-7 wins and losses in 43 appearances. She threw 126 innings, which was actually the most innings thrown by any USF pitcher last season.
Also 5 saves, the most of any USF pitcher a year ago.
Opponents were hitting 260 against her, and she brings another lefty arm into the circle.
She'll have to face a big hitter. Aiden Falk will be the first one up when play resumes, as she's getting her due warm-up pitches.
The tension palpable at the moment.
This is a critical moment in the game, as perhaps things were just starting to get away from Georgina Korek there.
Probably a smart decision by the coaching staff here to pull Korick.
And they do have 4 pitchers they go to between Korick and now Parker, also McGill, Eggins, a lot of different options.
Parker threw in the first game, or should I say in the last game against Georgia State. Collected a win in 1 2/3 innings of work. He gave up 2 hits and a run, but it was not earned. Struck out 2.
And the first pitch is a swing and a miss. She started Falk off with off speed, 53 miles an hour. That's a smart move.
Yeah, nice drop ball there on the outside edge. 53 on the gun here.
Definitely had Falk fooled as she's seeing Parker for the first time. That pitch outside, jumping up from the crouch, was Cook to grab it.
So this more of a save appearance for the Bulls than relief, trying to maintain this 1-run lead over number 18 Michigan.
1 on, 1 out. And Falk will take that one low in the dirt, 2-1. So don't want to fall behind a good hitter like Aiden Falk.
Falk got to be patient here, not go for anything too to the edges. You want to get that right in that sweet spot.
2-1. Parker delivers, swinging a ground ball, and it's backhanded. They're going to throw down for 1, but will not be able to get Falk down at first. So they'll nip the lead runner, Wald, but reset, runner on first, 2 outs.
That's a good job by Evans over at first. That one had a lot of English on it off the bat from Aiden Falk, and did a good job to glove it and make the throw over to second. That one was tailing away from her to her right as she got to it. So a good play to get the second out of the inning for the Bulls.
Madison Uden is now stepping in.
Got a chance to turn on the clutch gene here, does Uden.
She's also a lefty like Falk, facing the lefty Parker. Perhaps that played a role in the decision to bring Parker in. Falk down on first. That pitch inside part of the plate for a called strike.
Got a chance to impress here and be the family's favorite Uden today. Her sister Taylor, a player at Indiana University.
0-1 is the count. And that's a swing and a fly ball. Pretty deep into left, but not deep enough. And cruising back, getting under it is Atkinson. That will end the inning. So now we go to the bottom of the 6th. Michigan's got to hold it to a 1-run deficit.
And then they will be down to their final 3 outs in the top of the 7th to try and get back into the game and avoid 2-2. Really a game that coming in Michigan would be looking at as a must-win here in Tampa against an unranked USF team. They've settled in really well since giving up those 3 runs in the first and second innings. 1 in the first frame, 2 in the second. And Terra Blanco will come out to try and keep this intact.
At the same time, Michigan has got to expect more from their offense than what they've been getting so far in this game. 2 homers, but outside of that, not a whole lot else. Players coming out. The warm-ups. Blanco getting ready to deliver in this next inning. Leading off for the Bulls will be Samantha Worrell in the on-deck circle. She was, or actually it will be Aston Donovan, that's right. She was at the plate when Katie Alexander threw out Lay, stealing second to end the frame. So her at-bat will resume with a fresh count. 0 strikes, 0 balls. We get ready for the bottom of the 6th. Our score, USF 3, Michigan 2. Wolverines have trailed pretty much all game.
They have, in fact, trailed the whole game. They gave up 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Didn't get on the board until back-to-back home runs in the 4th by Blanco and Falk.
Aston Donovan is ready to hit. Lefty steps in. Blanco, the righty pitcher, gets ready to deliver the first pitch. And the slapper just knocks it foul down the first base line. Aiden Falk picks it up and flips it back over to Blanco. Blanco waits. The 0-1 delivery. High.
Tried to climb the ladder with the rise and a good hold from Donovan. Blanco's got to get a little bit more creative.
The 1-1 pitch is outside, 2-1.
Had a ground out to first back in the first inning, and then an unassisted ground out back in the third inning.
2-1 on Donovan.
Or should I say, now that I checked the score, was a ground right back to Blanco actually in the first inning, and then the unassisted back in the third.
And that is low, I guess.
Yeah, again, another close call that does not go for Blanco. Count runs hitter friendly at 3-1.
Needs to be careful to try to keep the leadoff runner off the base paths in a quest to maintain the 1-run deficit. The 3-1 swing and a ground ball foul. Will go off the Bulls dugout. Fogg picks it up, flips it back over to Blanco. Still encouragement coming from the Michigan dugout as they await Blanco's payoff pitch and way high. That'll be ball 4, and going down to first base is Aston Donovan.
So the leadoff runner in the inning is on for USF as they try and extend on a 1-run lead.
Samantha Worrell checks in. Runner on first, nobody out. Big number 44, a righty hitter.
Had a double with an RBI back in the first inning and had a hard line out to third in her last at-bat.
That's a pitch a little bit low, and so Blanco is starting to get a little bit erratic. Having trouble locating pitches right now. The 1-0 bunt is shown, but that pitch is low. Now the count goes to 2-0, and so she's missed on 6 of her last 7.
Donovan showed like she was getting a pretty healthy jump off over at first, so she was looked back to the bag by Alexander.
The 2-0 coming from Blanco, and that bounces in, 3-0.
And again, it had to be smothered by Alexander as it bounced up one time in front of the plate. And real struggles for Tara Blanco.
Carol Hutchins talking in the dugout as a conference has been called over in the circle.
Chatting with Jennifer Brundage, the pitching coach, probably mulling over how much longer they want to let Blanco go here in the 6th.
Just starting to run out of gas a little bit, it appears. 7 of the last 8 have missed the zone. Three and 0 on Samantha Worrell. Blanco steps on and delivers strike on the inside part of the plate.
Had to hit it. You know Worrell wasn't going to swing. So now it's a question of where do you go on 3-1. You've got to locate something over the plate. Worrell is going to be a little bit picky here with none out and a runner on first already.
3-1. And the runner goes. Alexander's throw down. Gets into center field, but it was a walk anyway.
Yeah, that one from Alexander a little bit too high and a little bit too far off the bag at second as it escaped the extended glove of Natalia Rodriguez as she tried to avoid a collision with Donovan heading down to steal second. So now a runner in scoring position with none out for the Bulls, and I think we're going to see an arm change.
Hutchins is talking with the home plate umpire, and it is going to be Megan Bobian.
Yep, Bobian coming out of the dugout. She grabs her cage in the sunglasses, and she's going to try and keep this a 1-run game. That'll be it for Tara Blanco. She doesn't want to come out of the circle.
Well, it it makes sense why that they are subbing in Beaubien with 2 on and nobody out. This is a situation where you really need strikeouts. And Beaubien, much more of a strikeout pitcher, but she's already put a lot of work on the arm in the last 24 hours plus.
Yep, she's thrown 14 innings over the first couple of games here at the Wilson DeMarini. So we'll see if she's able to turn on that magic and keep it a 1-run game to get the Wolverines to the top of the 7th. She's going to have to deal with none out, and Donovan standing on second base and Worrell standing on first base.
Not sure what's going on with the infield alignment. Blanco's still standing out there.
Maybe deciding if Blanco is going to go over to first. We'll see who's heading back to the dugout as they await orders from Carol Hutchins. It looks like Aiden Falk may head back to the dugout and allow Blanco to take the first bag.
Yep, that is going to be the move. Falk heads to the dugout.
She will get a round of applause here from the Michigan fans. Again, she gave up 1 run in the first, gave up 2 in the second on a 2-run home run over the left field fence. But since has not given up any runs until this sticky situation here in the bottom of the 6th inning with runners on first and second. She'll be responsible for both of them on her final line. But Megan Beaubien will try and keep her a little bit more clean on the stat sheet.
If Michigan really wants a chance to come back in this game, they're probably going to need Beaubien to wiggle them out of the jam without any runs given up.
Again, Beaubien has been fantastic so far, a true freshman making her first couple of starts. Threw a no-hitter yesterday in a shortened game against Georgia State. Gave up only 4 hits to the Florida Gators earlier this morning, but was on the unlucky end of a 2-0 defeat at the hands of the number 2 team in the country. And so now Michigan trying to avoid an unexpected loss here to USF.
Macy Cook, Mia Fung, and Amber Atkinson be the next 3 hitters in the order as Cook gets ready to check in number 11, the catcher, right-handed hitter. And it looks like we got a defensive change in the outfield, perhaps. Announcer just named Haley Hoganrod. Not sure what.
Hoganrod, I believe, just checked in left field. And that is the case. So another defensive switch around as the Zeeland, Michigan native heads over to left.
The 1-0 swing and a little chopper in field. Picked up and thrown over by Rodriguez, the shortstop. She makes the play, so the runner advances. The runner's over to second and third. That's what the at-bat they needed from Cook.
So that was a hard jam inside that had some spin on it as it bounced once in the dirt, was collected, and the only play to make at that point was the sure out at first. Could not get the lead runner in time at third.
So for Mia Fung and to face Beaubien, that one bounces in. Beaubien has to know that you need a strikeout here, because depending on how it is in the infield, that'll probably keep it, but anything in the outfield will probably score that huge, crucial 2-run for the 2-run lead. 1-0. Swing and a miss.
There's that heat from Beaubien. 71 on the scoreboard speed there as it smokes Fung.
One and one out in the inning. Runners on second and third for the Bulls. Beaubien delivers, and that one fouled back to the screen. So this is exactly what they wanted. 1-2, an opportunity now to perhaps go to the changeup.
And a little bit of room to wiggle with it if she wants to try another heater in there.
The 1-2 to Fung. Swing and a miss. She got her on strike.
She climbed the zone with 73 that time and got Fung to chase up above her letters on an ugly tomahawk chop. And that'll be the second out of the inning, and it'll put Michigan in a much more comfortable position, although they're not out of the thickets yet.
That's the strikeout she needed. But it's a kind of a very similar situation to what was really the biggest play of the Florida game. 2 on, runners on second and third with 2 outs. got to 2 strikes, and Beaubien just could not get the last strike, and 2 runs came in off a single. We got a pinch hitter coming in now. Amber Atkinson will be pinch hit for. It'll be number 24, Lindsay Devitt, a junior, checking in to try to face Beaubien. She checks her armband and now gets ready to deliver. That one bounces in. Big stop there from Katie Alexander.
Boy, you got to give Alexander a hand. She has dealt with a lot of pitches down in the dirt, and not a one has really gotten by her with any potential to do harm.
It's a big stop to keep the runners on third and second. The 1-0 coming just a tad inside.
Devitt is 0 for 3 so far on the season. Trying to put her first hit on the board in a big spot for USF. 2 outs in the inning, runners on second and third. They're up by a run.
Here's the 2-0 coming, and that's a chopper foul.
That one got inside, maybe even off the foot. Couldn't quite tell where it bounced on Devitt, but a soft dribbler down the third base line is foul.
2-1 the count now on Devitt. Beaubien, as usual, working quickly. And swing and a foul back to the screen. So now 2-2. Just like in the Florida game, 1 strike away from wiggling out of the jam.
Where's Beaubien going to go with this one? She climbed the ladder with the high cheese in the last at-bat to get Fung. We'll see what she does here for Devitt.
2-2. Swing and a foul down the first base line. Went off the screen and bounced into the Bulls dugout.
She went with the fastball that time, and it wasn't a bad pitch to hit for Devitt. It would have had a good opportunity, but just couldn't time it up right.
2-2. Beaubien waits and delivers. Check swing. Going to appeal down and did not go.
Oh, that was a close appeal. It was a pretty slow-mo action there. Peter Blair down at first base finally throws up the did not go arms. And the count's now full.
3-2 on Devitt. And the pitch is low. So that's a walk to load the bases. Perhaps a bit of fatigue on Beaubien's arm.
Yeah, just lost that one on the release a little bit. She doesn't look like she's fatigued. She's still hitting those high numbers on the gun. She's still got that stuff in the tank. It's just a matter of controlling it, and that's what is going to bring out Jennifer Brundage.
There'll be a conversation between the infielders and then a conversation between Brundage, Alexander, and Beaubien in the circle.
This has been a long bottom of the 6th inning for Michigan. USF has not scratched anything across yet.
Cassidy Boyle will come up next once these conversations break up. Boyle, number 14, playing the shortstop position. She's squatted down just outside the batter's box, getting ready for her at-bat. Long talk between the Wolverines. And now all the infielders coming in to tap gloves with Beaubien to cheer her on. Looks like we got a pinch runner coming out for the Bulls. Trying to tell what number that is. Looks like number 1, Kendall Williams. Who we pinch ran at second base. Bulls trying to be ready in case there is a single to bring 2 runs around.
Devitt on first, Williams pinch running on second, Donovan on third.
And that is strike on the inside part of the plate.
Cassidy Boyle had that 2-run home run that's been the difference maker for USF back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. She then proceeded to fly out in the 3rd.
0-1, swinging a ground ball to second. Canfield Fields flips over to first, and Beaubien gets out of the jam.
She walks one, but gets the ground out to end the inning and nulls the damage, and now Michigan is going to have their chance for the comeback win in the top of the 7th. You're listening to WCBN sports coverage of Michigan softball on Michigan's Softball Student Radio Network here with WCBN.
Michigan will have their last 3 chances to try to get 1 run across and tie the game.
Gonzalez, Swearingen, and Alexander will be your three, provided we don't see any pinch hits.
But you got to think there will be.
At some point here, you would guess with Hutch's MO.
Well, it's certainly just the way Swearingen has struggled throughout her career, and maybe even Thais Gonzalez, too. Got to wonder about who we will see up there.
We'll see who dons the helmets to come out there. It looks like Alex Subject is going to be a pinch hitter here for Thais Gonzalez to start off the inning. As number 15 puts the helmet on and takes the cuts.
Trying to see who it is in the on-deck circle. Looks like Swearingen, but...
Yeah, that long blonde hair, the 2-3 on the back, that's Swearingen, still in her normal spot at 7 right now. Hutch is going to talk to her. Bonnie Thole heads over towards first base as Parker finishes her warm-up. And everything getting clarified here with the home plate umpire.
And now Swearingen has gone back into the dugout and is now replaced by a pinch hitter. Going to move on to the on-deck circle. Can't see the number right now.
Looks like it's going to be Amanda Vargas stepping in. So double pinch hitting at least to start off the inning here with Subject and Vargas. So both Thais Gonzalez and Swearingen will sit here in the top of the 7th. Carol Hutchins just trying to talk to Subject and tell her it's all right, just stay in the process.
And now
the ball doesn't care who hits it. And yeah, we will have a pitching change to close it out.
Looks like it's going to be JoJo McGill coming in for USF. Again, they use a lot of pitchers. So it'll be a new pitcher facing a new hitter. Completely new alignment here as we begin the top of the 7th.
McGill last season, a 2.69 ERA. She threw 99 innings of work, which was the second highest on this USF team. Not as much of a strikeout pitcher, just 64 last season, and opponents with a favorable 289 average against her. So perhaps some room for Michigan to put in some work here in the top of the 7th. An interesting switch, seeing as Parker had done really well since coming in earlier in the game.
She looked good, but whatever the reason is, they do like JoJo McGill because she's going to have the opportunity to nail down the save in a 3-2 ball game. Subject will stand in. Vargas in the on-deck circle.
The whole infield meeting with JoJo McGill. And she gets the fist bump from Boyle at short, heads back to the circle, and Subject's ready to step in.
The righty hitter strolls into the left batter's box. Kicks her right foot over a bit, then bends the knees substantially. And sees the first pitch swinging a fly ball, shallow right field. Moving over and making the catch is Fung. 1 pitch, 1 out. Not really what you wanted to see there.
A lack of patience again by the Wolverines as Carol Hutchins will walk over to grab the bat from Amanda Vargas. And it looks like another just clarification here that Vargas will be the pinch hitter. As Natalie Peters comes out to claim the loose bat on the dirt.
And I guess for Katie Alexander, it's going to be Abby Skvars. She's moved into the on-deck circle after the pinch hitter of Amanda Vargas.
Yep, Skvars with that number 5 comes over to the on-deck circle. A big pinch hit here for Amanda Vargas. Can the Panda get it done in the top of the 7th, down 1?
First pitch is low from JoJo McGill.
That was a good pitch. That she let it go. Good eye from Vargas. Yep, just a hair under the zone.
1-0. McGill rubs the ball on her leg and delivers. Vargas a little feeble ground ball to second. Easy flip, 2 outs.
Well, no real patience at the plate for these pinch hitters. They've taken their first chances, and now it's down to Skvars. And Michigan is 1 out away from sustaining another tough blow to the chin here on day number 2. Exactly what happened to them last season here in Tampa. Again, it was a close loss to Florida in 10 innings and then a late night loss to USF here at their home tournament.
2 outs.
Skvars, the only one with a chance to dig them out of the hole.
McGill gets ready and delivers on the inside part of the plate. A strike taken by Skvars.
Skvars is 1 for 1 so far in her pinch hit appearance on the year.
0-1. Swing and a ground ball foul.
Just spun out down that first base line.
So now Michigan down to their final strike.
Nobody taking any pitches.
Very aggressive against McGill.
That's really been the story of the day. Michigan again overeager. There are only 2 runs, back-to-back solo shots.
The 0-2, swinging a ground ball up the middle, a base hit. And just like against Florida, Michigan not quite done yet.
Well, it'll keep them alive for a minute. And that'll bring up Natalia Rodriguez.
She's had a couple pinch hit singles to start her career, now in her first ever start. And it looks like we might have perhaps a pinch runner. Not sure.
Nope. Well, it looks like maybe, yeah, Katie Alexander running out over towards first base for Abby Skvars, but Bonnie Thole looks a little confused.
I guess.
That is the switch, though.
Yep.
Alexander for Skvars at first. Natalia Rodriguez at the plate. She's 0 for 2 on the day. She lined out in her at-bat in the 3rd inning. And again, unlucky in the 5th as well.
Alexander on first. And that pitch a little bit high. 1-0.
Can the Wolverines string 2 together?
Yep.
It's been the story of the day so far. Runners in scoring position.
Now we got a conversation on the mound for the Bulls.
A 1-0 count on Natalia Rodriguez as she'll talk to Carol Hutchins. It looks like we might see some changes for USF. No, everybody will stay calm. As McGill just getting a check in here.
1-0. Alexander's got to be ready if there's something hit to the gap. With 2 outs, she's off on contact. The 1-0 high, 2-0. Couple good takes for Rodriguez. Now she's ahead in the count.
It's 3-2 USF here in the top of the 7th. Michigan trying to scratch across a game-tying run. Katie Alexander stands on first with 2 out.
The 2-0 grounder right back to the mound. McGill fires over to first, and the Bulls win it. Final score of 3-2. They got some clutch pitching there late. Their runs came early, took a 3-0 lead. Michigan, couple back-to-back home runs, just not enough to tie this game.
And the offense, poor. 2 solo home runs, in total just 4 hits for Michigan. And they're going to have some soul-searching to do now after a rough day 2 that sees them fall from 2-0 to 2-2 after a 2-0 loss to Florida and a 3-2 loss to USF.
There's just not a good way you can sum this game up. I mean, Michigan, fewer hits in this one than they had against Florida. And that's just not good enough.
Carol Hutchins will definitely have her work cut out for her with Team 41 here. Drain, good job on your first play-by-play call. It's been a fun time down here in Tampa. That'll do it for WCBN sports coverage here at the Wilson DeMarini tournament. Again, you can catch tomorrow's live updates on the Michigan softball Twitter, but we will be on our way back to snowy Michigan for that final game at 9 a.m. against Illinois State. So Michigan 2-2 on the weekend so far. They'll have a chance to break 500 tomorrow morning against the Redbirds. Anything to add, Drain?
Nope, just a rough day for Michigan, but it's very early, and I think you couldn't underestimate the Bulls. They had a strong performance, a good game played by them, just unable to put it together for the Wolverines.
Unable to put it together, the story of the day, and that'll do it for our coverage here. For WCBN, Alex Drain, I'm Jeremy Parks. We'll catch you Not next week, but the week after in Austin, Texas, when Lucas Vargas has the Longhorn tournament for you down in Austin, and we'll see you then. Until that point, we'll leave you, as always, with a good night and a go blue. USF 3, number 18, Michigan 2.